It's Gug time, everybody. It's Gather Up, Gotchard. We're talking about episode 32, the beginning of a new arc, the beginning of some more story. So first things first, why don't we deal with the farm real quick? As basically, Botchus is slowly integrating herself more and more into the Alchemy Academy. And just hanging out with the crew there, you know, and talking to Rene and talking to all of them. And Rene brings up of like, hey, Atropos is kind of like, there's something going on with her. She's not all right. Can we be like goody goodies and like help her? And Lotchus is immediately like, no, Atropos is kind of a piece of shit. I don't care about her. And they also bring up, hey, do you have any hopes or dreams of some kind? And Lotchus is like, no, we're not supposed to. I was like, what do you mean not supposed to? Isn't that how we were built? It's like, oh, you're finally confirming your homunculi. But Kyoka basically goes like, well, what if we could make you human? You're already pretty close. And she's like, really? Okay. And Kyoka just gets really up in her face, and it's kind of funny, like uncomfortable. And they do a little scan, and that's where they finally get like the confirmation of like, yeah, homunculi. But homunculi, we've been thinking of it a little bit too lightly. In the show, it's very much more of like a forbidden technique, a thing that shouldn't have happened. You are like an artificial human being kind of thing, and that's kind of wrong. So similar to how kind of like in FMA, I guess. But got confirmation of that, and Spanner gets a little notification on his cellular telephone of what's been going on in the A plot. Because in the A plot, Clotho is just wrecking herself because she feels like she's not strong enough to protect her family. She's not going to admit that. She has problems admitting that she cares about people because she's from a family that taught all of them low empathy and not to care about each other. And she's slowly starting to realize that she really, really does care and love people, and it's kind of fucking with her. As the legend world gets turned over by the thousands, or it's hundreds? It's hundreds. That evil organization from the specials. You did watch the specials, didn't you? They're very plot sensitive. I mean this in the best way. Gotchard is feeling very American comic booky, very American superheroes in that way of like, oh yeah, there's side material that we're just going to be referencing in the main thing. There's fill-in issues, there's fill-in episodes. Not filler, fill-in. Filler is a term from anime manga fans of anime original material that was not in the manga that people have misattributed to things that don't matter. No. Fill in is when another creative fills in for the long-standing creative in an ongoing project. Very common in American comics. You're doing 50 issues and you need a month, you get a fill-in issue. But the evil organization is trying to steal the Legends device, the new toy. And we catch up with Hotaro, Ringe, and Sabimaru as they're just doing their job. They're going out, they're catching chemis. They're doing all that kind of stuff. When Clotho appears and goes like, hey, fuck you, fight me. And Hotaro's like, whoa, why? No, hold on, stop. What's going on here? And she's like, no, fuck you, fight me. And that's when the hundreds show up and basically ruin all of Clotho's plans. They start attacking and doing all that kind of stuff. And somehow get warped into what I'll call a pocket dimension. Doors pop up. Hotaro's trying to get in and out, and he's just lost in this area, till eventually he runs into Clotho. And Clotho's like, finally, something I can punch. Right? But then the 100 show up, and then Hotaro's immediately like, alright, yep, we're doing a team up thing, I don't give a fuck, we're working together. And Clotho's like, fine. Hotaro's able to, and the whole time Hotaro's trying to connect to her emotionally, empathetically, of just like, hey, there's got to be something you care about. There's got to be something you care about. And every time he basically asks about that, Clotho has a vision of her and her two sisters being together again. And it's very clear she misses her family, despite all the bad things that happened with it. She also doesn't understand the negative aspects of that, but sometimes you just love toxic family. And then we have a fight, because everybody, all the 100s are finally catching up to them, and they're fighting. They both henshin, they both fight, do some badass. We get a great a great dual rider kick. It's fun. And they finally break out of the little pocket dimension. Hotaro's like, see? Look at that. Fucking teamwork, baby. It makes the dream work. Look at this. You can be so cool as a good guy. You want to be a good guy? And she thinks about it for like a second. But then that's when Atropos shows up with the Abyssal King. And he's like, hey, motherfucker. I can do whatever the fuck you want, Clotho. I'm here to be the ultimate lore of toxic family and the possibility of all that, you know? What's the word for that? There's a word for it, and you'll remind me of it. But basically it goes like, hey, do you want power? And she's like, fuck, that has been the thing I really been wanting, and I haven't spent enough time with Hotaro to realize this is a bad idea. So yeah, sure, I'll get power. And then we get a new form for Clotho. She is monstered up. She is purple. Great design. Absolutely love it. And Hotaro and the crew, because Rine, Ringe, Spanner, Sabimaru are all there to like pick up Hotaro after he just got shock blasted, winded. He's on the ground. He's like, oh fuck, I got hit. They're there to help him out, and he's just going like, oh man, Clotho, you could have, come on. As 3 fucking randos from the 100s walk up and go like, all right, we're gonna be bad guys. And we do get a preview of them being bad guys, which we will get to, because there's something I want to mention about that, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. But this episode's very much like reaffirming what the current arc is kind of going on about, which is like very much empathizing with the enemy, empathizing with people you don't like, empathizing with people you hate. Because Rine has been doing it with Atropos, Hotaro's now doing it with Clotho, and Latchis has already been connecting with Spanner in this way. But it's also just like asking what it means to be. Like, what does it mean to like exist and other people relate to you? This episode, of course, has a big focus on Clotho. And just how, like, she can't admit that she just wants her family back. Because I think it's very much a situation of they already have thoughts, feelings, hopes, and emotions. Oh, like all the things that they say, like, oh, we don't have those because we're homunculi. They already have them. They're just so abused in their family situation that they don't recognize it in themselves. You know? Clotho really wants her family back, but she just can't admit it. She just can't cognitize the idea that that's something she wants, because she's just so lost in that sauce. and that is related to the fact of like all of them just denying their own personhood. Lotchis is in the healthiest place she can be right now because she's with other people. She is in the academy with the Alchemist Academy, so to speak, and like going like, oh, maybe I am a person. Maybe I do have wants and desires. Maybe I'm more than just the sum of my parts, right? Well, Achipo's full on like locked in. Nope. I am nothing. I am a little tiny robot for Grayon, and he is my father, and that's all I care about. While Clotho's very much like in that middle of trying to figure out what she is. Is she person? Is she robot? And just with that struggle, and the bad guys take advantage of that struggle. But hey, we did get direct confirmation that they are all homunculi. That's neat. We've been theorizing that for the longest time. I felt like pretty set in stone, but it's nice to get official verbal confirmation. But yeah, this was a pretty dang good episode. Good fights, a lot of good fights. Great character work on Lotchis and Clotho. Just they did great stuff. It's really cool to see. It's also really fun to see Lotchis be uncomfortable for a moment. But Clotho going through the gambit, getting to have like a fun little good guy moment. And as always, it's nice to see other forms getting used. It was cool to see UFO being used some, and the big metallic motorcycle guy. That was fun. Oh, and hey, Legend stuff is happening now. It's nice to see him come back. Speaking on that, I have a little tiny theory about those three guys at the end and next week's episode. So, the suits that those bad guys are using are Eternal, Dark Kiva, and Glare. And first things first, it's kind of random why those suits. I think the answer is, one, they may have just wanted to use them. They're cool suits. But two, those seasons relate to the major theme of Gotchard. Because it's all about dealing with understanding others, you know, empathy. Because fundamentally a big part of Double is Philip's family not understanding and respecting him. And if we think about Eternal, just Eternal, literally he was just a big bad guy who didn't respect other people, you know, and it's two guys fully understanding and respecting each other that beats him, you know. That kind of thing is interesting. Kiva is all about understanding parents and their choices that led up to you, and just like gripping that and understanding it. And Geetz's major sub-theme, besides desire, is destroying parasocial relationships of truly understanding others as people, not just as entertainment receptacles. So I think there is some thematic weight to the suit choices if they want to go in that decision. But also, like, looking at like what Legend is in context of all of this, it's like, oh yeah, no, Legend is very clearly about the empathy of heroism, right? Because he is inspired by the heroism of Decade, but in turn, that inspires him to try and be heroic for others. You know, it's a reciprocal, you get what you give. You give what you get, right? Kind of thing. It's neat. It's nice. It's all good. You know, it's also good. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on socials. Links down below. You can go support me on Patreon. It's as low as $1 a month. Can get you an exclusive video every single week. A Patreon podcast every month. A look back commentary through some of my older videos every month. An additional podcast is going to be planned and worked on somewhat soon. Yeah, I'm making things. If you want to go see it, you can pay me money. Wahoo! But, last but not least, we have some comments. First up, from just some random guy. Yeah, I could see some worries about fridging being a possibility. For people who aren't aware, fridging is a literary trope that basically you kill someone for no reason just to give another character angst and drama. It in and of itself, that's not a bad thing to do, because that's basically what happens when you kill off a mentor character, right? That's Obi-Wan being killed in A New Hope. The problem is that that's often that thing is often used with a character's significant other, and since we are not past patriarchal bullshit. Also, if you click off this video for me saying the patriarchy, good. I don't want you watching my shit. But because we're still in the throes of the patriarchy, male viewpoints are still seen as a default primary viewpoint. It often becomes girlfriends and wives. So it's just women getting killed. It's not a good thing. But yeah, no, I could understand seeing something like, oh no, and then being concerned. But yeah, no, they didn't go that route. That's good. That's good on Kamen Rider. Has Kamen Rider done a ton of fridging? Like, I'm watching Agito, and there's a little bit of fridging that you could, like, argue about, but I don't know. I think that's meant to be more, like, tragic than... it's fridging. No, Aki dying is fridging. Aki's a reoccurring character in Agito. So, if you haven't seen it yet, it's good. Go watch Agito, and go watch Agito, Arise Agito, my watch through series on Patreon. It's pretty good. But yeah, Rene had a moment of doubt, but it was just a moment. She was like, "No, fuck you." She's grown as a character, and it's real nice to see her have like some good badass smart moments for the rest of the episode. Next up, from Fish Pop. Yeah. Rene not using a new form and just kind of staying with the default 2 that she's been using, I think is the biggest blemish on that episode, and just so far the biggest problem with Rene as a character so far. Because she's a great character. They've been doing a lot with her. It's fun. It's interesting. But yeah, action-wise, she doesn't get as much. Honestly, maybe not. Because here's the thing, Valvorad doesn't have that many forms. He just has like little bonus accessories. So maybe I'm not saying it's perfect. And I'm not saying, like, it's good. It's good, actually. No, I'm saying it's bad, and she should have more forms, and she should use it more. I don't know. I think it's just... yeah, who knows. But yeah, no. Last episode, she should have used a new form. She didn't. Perfect time to use one. That's kind of you know. And I can see Lexus at least transforming into Valvorad once. Maybe because they do technically have duplicates of certain chemis, maybe they could do something with her being Valvorad more regularly, but I could definitely see it, especially like protect Spanner or Kyoka. Imagine Spanner's face if she transforms, if like Lexus transforms into Valvorad to protect Kyoka, and he's like, "You protected my sister. Fuck, I have to. Alright, you're fine. You're cool." You know? And, yeah, no, I understand getting kind of burnt out on watching certain things. But you just gotta remember, no one's holding a gun to your head to force you to watch it. You can take your time. Take as much time as you want to watch the things you want. It's perfectly fine, perfectly valid. And finally, from Esconde. Yeah, Minato getting a lot more chances to just be like a supportive teacher character is great. It's good. It's solid. And it's interesting, like I said earlier, it's interesting to see how the themes of empathy are affecting the bad guys, because it is humanizing them. Because like we talked about Lotchis going like, "Oh, we don't really have wants or desires," and it's just like bullshit. bullshit. You want to mess with Spanner. You want to tease him. You want to do something with him because you find him interesting. Clotho wants her family back, and with this, and last time with Atropos, we see what she really wants, which is Grayon's approval. Right? She wants Daddy's approval, and Daddy's a monster, and he's never gonna give it. And no matter how cruel she is, it'll never come, and that's kind of the tragedy of her, you know? But yeah, no, seeing Rine just do all the cool stuff with Majade and all the powers and the weapons and everything. It's interesting. It's cool to see Rine be like the tactics of the two of them. Like, Hotaro is hot blood shonen protagonist. It's just like, I'm gonna fight ya. But Rine's like, I'm gonna outthink ya. It's neat. It's cool. It really shows their difference and temperament really, really well. You know? But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you have a good day, and I hope you like, comment, subscribe to the channel to see videos like this and many, many more. Till next time.
Big thank you to my Patreon supporters, Esconde and Scott Firestein.